All right, guys, today, believe it or not, we have Andrew from 90 Day Fiance. I cannot believe this. I wanted to get Andrew and Amira. Amira, I never heard back from, but Andrew, he got back to me, and we are freaking doing this. So let's not waste any time. Andrew, thank you so much for coming on the channel, man. I really appreciate it.
I'm happy to be here, man. I've been a big fan of yours for a while, and I love all your content. So thanks for having me on.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, I don't want to take up too much of your time, but we have like 3 different kinds of questions I want to ask you. Number 1, let's just do this thing. I have so many questions about Mexico. The first thing I want to know, I saw on your social media, you were saying the Mexico thing was never your idea. Can you elaborate more on whose idea this whole Mexico thing was and what actually went down?
On the show, you see that Mexico is basically my idea. They say that I was on the message board and all of this. I was never on the message board. In fact, on my page, I've placed a lot of receipts showing her on the message board, quite active. She brought the idea to me. She even chose the date for Mexico. She was the one that propagated it, and basically I was just the wallet in that regard.
Right. Well, okay. So I just don't understand. Do you have any idea why 90 Day Fiance would position this whole Mexico trip as your idea when it appears, and from your screenshots, it looks like it was completely Amira's idea?
Because what they're doing is they're developing a character. They're creating a whole narrative arc. And so it's much easier, Occam's razor, less assumptions, to just put it on me than it is to say that she's the one that brought it to me. And because it's more easier to give a story as in Andrew's the bad guy. He brought the idea. He's the one that pushed it forward, rather than the complexities of the fact that, oh, maybe Amira was actually on the message board and brought the idea and wanted to actually participate in these things. It makes for an easier story.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. But so do you think like Amira was in on this whole, trying to make you out like the bad guy? Because she was saying, I don't want to go to Mexico. I don't want to go to Serbia, which we'll get into in a couple of minutes. But it's like, do you think she was kind of in on the whole production thing where it was like she was trying to make you seem like a bad guy too?
100%. 100%. And the way that Mexico all unfolded kind of showed her alliance with production in that way, because when she was in Mexico detained, she called production. She didn't call her dad. She didn't call me. She didn't call anybody else. She called production, and that ultimately led to everything and how it unfolded. So it really felt as if there was an unholy alliance there between Amira and production.
Right. Wow. Okay, so now let's fast forward. She goes there. She gets detained and deported. I don't know anything about international travel, but it did seem kind of odd that she didn't have more of a reasoning. Do you have your thoughts on if it was true or not true, or why she actually did get detained and deported from Mexico?
It really blew my mind. In fact, from talking to her, she's never given me a straight answer. I've posted the conversations that we actually had after the event, and she was actually rather jovial and kind of joking after she got out. And she claimed that we didn't talk. We talked every day. So about whether or not what the reason was she got detained, I think she misrepresented herself.
In what way?
I think she either said that she was, like the lawyer had said on the show, like ultimately she had said that she was coming and did not present herself as leaving the country. But yet she did have a ticket. She had a through ticket to the United States. So she should have been able to present that to the border agent and go on through. So I think that either 1, she misrepresented herself. 2, she had an alliance with production, or 3, she fumbled the passport, because like the paperwork says, it has to be one of those 3.
Well, okay, so then, she gets there, she gets detained for, she was saying 3 days. I read online it was like 2, but either way, she said in the last tell-all that you guys at first didn't talk at all and you didn't reach out to her at all, but then she ended up kind of backpedaling and saying that, well, you barely reached out to her. So I saw those text messages that you were going crazy, asking how she was and saying this, that, and the other. Can you kind of clarify what was actually going on when you were in Mexico and you knew that she got detained? Because we saw on the show, it looked like you were out eating steak and doing this. And so I want to hear what was really truly going on when you were in Mexico. Were you trying to help her? Were you doing stuff? What was going on?
Of course, I was trying to help her. I had hired a translator. We had called the airport. We had gotten a hold of the embassy. We had gone all over the place. We couldn't find any information on her at all. It was actually kind of really strange. And so we were frantically trying to figure out where she was during the period in which I had no idea where she was. And there was this frustrating dynamic with production in knowing that they indeed did know where she was and were not necessarily being too forthright or helpful.
Interesting. So you're saying that when she first got detained, she had like one phone call kind of and called production?
I don't know if she had just one phone call. I don't know how many times she called out, but I do know that she called the people that she called, and the people she was in contact with was production.
Wow. Okay, so I heard you say that. I thought you meant that she called them immediately when she got out. I didn't realize it was when she got put in.
No, she was actually there. The people that she called, instead of like calling me to help her or her dad to help her, or like, hey, I'm stuck in detention, Andrew, I need some help. No, it was production who got that call. Huh. And that was everything.
Yeah, you think she would try to get two birds with one stone by just help me, and then you also go and try to call production. That's weird. I didn't realize that. That is really strange that she did that.
It was really kind of a strange experience because how the information was presented to me, it was actually delayed in when it was given to me. When I was actually given the information when I was on the plane, on the tarmac, about to take off to Puerto Vallarta. So they had like waited to the point where I couldn't even change my flight at Mexico City. Like they waited to the point. They knew my flight schedule, called me right then. And it created this whole problem where we actually had to reshoot the scene, a fake scene essentially, where I'm taking a call. You see it at the tell-all. You see the roof behind me. That's actually the local mall.
Oh.
You see me all confused. I'm just, it's basically me acting like I'm getting a call from the dad. I never got a call from the dad. The person who talked to me was the mom.
And I'll save that question for later, but I am curious. We didn't ever hear anything about Amira's mom, but we'll save that for the end of the video. But anyway, so that the whole Mexico debacle happens. I thought you guys were just going to end your relationship then and there, but then you guys choose Serbia. Do you have any comments on whose idea Serbia was, why Serbia, all that kind of stuff?
Serbia was a conversation that we had after Mexico, and basically it went like this. Whatever you want to do, Amira, wherever you want to go, or if you want to stay home, you can do that as well. You know, basically the ball was in Amira's court, and Amira came back with the decision saying that she wanted to go to Serbia. And you can see that in, I'm sorry, I keep pointing back to the text messages I did in my highlights there. But I had posted some text showing her enthusiasm to go to Serbia. So much so she was, I had offered her dad a ticket to go and even paid for a ticket, and he accepted. And we went through that whole process. We were about to send another friend with her. She had a lot of push on her own to make that happen. And it was not me. I'm really just the wallet here.
Right. Well, okay, so yeah, so we didn't hear anything about her dad going to Serbia or her friend going either. Obviously, they didn't end up coming, but what was the deal with that? Why didn't they end up going to Serbia with her?
The dad didn't end up going because I was told that he ended up in hospital. And so even that was concerning. There was conversations with Amira like, you don't have to go to Serbia, you know? I was not even worried about the refund of the ticket or anything like that. It really kind of blew my mind how it was all presented and how she presented it, because there is absolutely no pressure. It was all on her to make that choice if she wanted or not to do that. And I was completely okay with redoing the visa.
Okay, yeah, I was curious on that too. And so I know we talked about her dad and her friend, but did you ever want to meet her in Serbia like you did in Mexico?
Oh yeah, definitely. I had offered many a times, even before and during the time she was there, to go out to Serbia and be with her. When her dad dropped out, I had said that, oh, I'll come out. You know, I didn't know what would be necessarily possible for me because of my recent travels to Mexico, obviously. But I was willing to take the chance and see if I could go over to Serbia via New York. Right. And like she kept turning me down over and over and over again, saying, "Oh, I'm a big girl," she says. Like I can do this on my own. Like she literally says these things to me, and I'm like, okay, I really appreciate your strength and honesty, you know. So this is why it really throws me for a loop when she's presenting everything completely differently.
Right. And so my next question would be, up until this point, before she goes to Serbia, before she gets ready to go, did you guys have any fighting? Did you have any ideas in your head that, you know, this relationship might come to an end? Like, what was going through your head? Because when I don't know why, like my gut was telling me watching you guys, but even before she was going to go to Serbia, that I was thinking this relationship is probably going to end. Like, what was going through your head?
Yeah, like after Mexico, and as we started getting into Serbia, and as this filming continued, the divide continued within us in our relationship, and it just became a bigger and bigger rift. I tell you, if you want to have a strong, healthy relationship, don't go on 90 Day Fiance. She started this filming process and her whole being kind of changed. She really got enthusiastic about being on film and being a star and being, you know, she wanted body modifications and things like this. So everything kind of changed in what her life objectives seemed to be.
So she gets to Serbia. Amira was saying she wasn't hearing from you. You know, you weren't reaching out to her during that 14-day quarantine process. I thought, and I don't know anything about quarantine, but I thought she was going to have to stay inside. So I figured she was just going to have to get like room service all day. But we did get to see her go out and about, which was kind of interesting because this is why I want Amira to come on this channel, because it's like I heard from a fan that is from Serbia, and then she told me that no, they have a mall and they have stores and there's, you know, all that kind of stuff. But then Amira had a totally different story. Were you in contact with her during her 14-day quarantine process? Like, what was going on there?
Every single day. Me and Amira talked every single day. And what is so strange is the hotel that they showed, the exit, is not the hotel that she had.
Oh, wow.
She had a 4-star, centrally located, nice hotel. And so she ended up on a street that was like 2 miles away and doing that graffiti scene or something. Like she was in a completely different location. So that was kind of mind blowing. She was when she would call me, she was actually eating at cafes, you know, like when we would actually video chat, because the cafes were open. I've talked to several Serbians too. Since all of this, all the cafes were open. She had a McDonald's a couple doors down, a KFC right across the street. I mean, there were cafes, restaurants. A lot of these things were incredibly active and going at this time. And this is one of the reasons why we ended up picking Serbia, because of these resources being available. And so the way that they ended up presenting it, I think does a lot of doesn't do justice for the Serbians and for Serbia there, because Belgrade is a beautiful city, and I wish they kind of would have shown its beauty.
What you're saying and what she's saying is just two totally different stories. Like, it's just so strange. That's why I can't figure this out. So I don't understand. So she must have known she was done with you at that point, because when she was quarantining, she was saying she was crying, Andrew will not reach out to me. He now all of a sudden wants to have babies immediately. Like, what was that whole conversation, the whole baby conversation?
Had nothing to do with babies. That is a narrative crutch thrown in after the fact to try to create something out of the confusion that actually happened. When she was about to get on the plane in Serbia, I get a call a couple hours beforehand, and I'm told basically that she's gotten an agent somehow while she's in Serbia, and that she's been demanding money, and that she's like refusing to film. And all of this is like dropping on me. Literally, hours before she's supposed to be getting on the plane. I'm at work surrounded by all the kids and the chaos of work. And so it was a completely weird situation. I felt like a freight train was running me over here.
So let's backpedal real quick. So that was the whole infamous text that everyone saw, and it was you saying you were counting down and you were getting mad and you were upset and she was sobbing. Do you have any backstory to what obviously you appeared to be frustrated in those texts. What was going on through your head when you were texting that stuff? What were you mad about?
I was upset about the fact that she had literally pulled this money play right before she's supposed to be getting on the plane. The 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 is a confusion about where she's going, where her heart is. Is she coming? Is she coming for love, or is she going home? And I was offering her a ticket home if she really was trying to drop out and be done and do all of that. I wanted to make sure that she got home safely. So I sent her the money for a ticket home, or she can come to the United States if she really wants to work it out. And so the whole fight was about the agent, and the confusion of all of that had nothing to do with kids at all. The whole kids thing is almost insulting in a lot of ways, because I'm rich with kids in my life, and I have such amazing experiences with children that it just really, it bothers me that they would like place that narrative upon me that I'm like pushing for kids in that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. So that whole agent thing, her trying to get more money, I heard that on your social media, but I never heard that. Obviously, we didn't hear that on the show or anything.
Of course not, and you won't, because it involves parts of production that you're not going to get, and in fact, I'm sure that there were some agreements that I don't even know about on the other end, because of the underworkings of her agent, her and production. It blows my mind too. Like I know I'm kind of rambling, but like at the tell-all, one of my personal opinions is that they didn't want me in the room because the things she was saying was absolute lies, and production knew that they were lies because they had fed them to her. For example, the fact that she had like gotten a notification about me being on the website, that would be absolutely impossible. She had no access to my email in that way. If she did, she would have had to have hacked my email. Basically, she's admitting she hacked my email, or she's the other option, which is more likely. I told production that I was on the site, and they told her, and they wanted me out of the room so that I couldn't say, "Oh, this is BS. Right. You never found that out." That's what I told that to production, and now so do you understand? Like, they didn't want me to call out the mechanisms there.
No, I get it for sure. I mean, yeah, that was really weird because the tell-all was a whole thing in itself. I just didn't get, like, I just feel like if Amira really and I get it, if, and I'm not saying it is or isn't, I have no idea what was going on in your guys' relationship, but it's like, if it was super traumatic for her, whatever, but I still just feel like if she was telling the truth, she would want, at least if I was in her shoes, I would want to look at you face to face and say, listen, this is the truth, this is not the truth, let's kind of work this thing out. And so if I was her, I would have done it different, but I'm not her. Can't comment for her, but it did seem kind of fishy, kind of weird.
There was absolutely no way for me to defend myself. Even if I was to come back into that room, I would have had no understanding of the things in which she really said or how she presented them. They would just be represented to me through the cast how production wanted it. So there would just be absolutely no way for like an actual type of tell-all where I could be like, oh, that didn't happen. This is what happened. That didn't happen. This is what happened. They wouldn't allow that to manifest.
Right. And so did you and Amira actually ever officially get on the phone or text and say, we are done, we are not together anymore, let's break up? Or was it just like when she went back to France, that was it, and she sent you the ring back and that was the end of it? She
doesn't get on the plane. That whole story in itself is crazy, because that whole night they lead me to believe that she's about to get on the plane. Like they even have her call me like she's about to get on the plane. and like they film like she's about to come and all of this. It's really kind of strange. And then the next day I wake up and I get a text saying that basically she didn't get on the plane and it's over. And that was how it ended, through a text, essentially.
Wow. So you never talked to her after she didn't get on that plane?
We did have text conversations about the exchange of the ring and some makeup.
Wow. Okay, so we did see, she said in the tell-all, she sent you the ring back and some gifts. You don't have to share if you don't want to. I'm just curious, why? What were the gifts and why? You definitely don't have to share, though, if you don't want.
I don't even understand why she brings those up. And if she really did want some sort of thank you, I've always been open to communicating and thanking her for any of kindnesses. Like, it doesn't, like, that seems so contradictory there. She was saying, oh, but he never said thank you for these gifts, but I don't want to talk to him or hear from him ever. The gifts were, I wish I had them near me. They're in storage. They're these little, like ticky-tacky kind of Serbian souvenirs. Like I don't know what she was thinking or production was thinking by sending these things. But they're like, it's like a Serbian t-shirt and like a Serbian ticky-tacky kind of toy. So the gifts aren't like, oh, gifts, you got something nice. It's a Serbian souvenir shop that I think she had left over in her bag. She just tossed it in and sent it to me.
Right. And now that we're talking kind of about money and whatnot, this typically with 90 Day Fiance, when a person is sending a bunch of money, they'll rattle off numbers, 20,000, 50,000, however much. I didn't realize that you were paying for the flights and doing all that kind of stuff. Your mom made a comment, though, that you were funding a lot of this stuff going on. She didn't really have a job, I don't think. You don't have to answer this once again, but I am kind of curious. Were you like sending her money? Were you just buying stuff for her? Like, what was the whole money situation?
I would send her money for makeup and clothes or food. I bought a TV for her mom. I bought her mom new gardening equipment. I helped her dad out while he was in the hospital. We went on great grand vacations. I would say that easily $30,000 to $40,000 within the course of our 2-year relationship, with the ring, the vacations, the money sent over to her. It easily adds up to about that much.
Wow, holy crap! I didn't realize it was that much. And so I know this was kind of brought up once again on your Instagram that I found just so bizarre. Was Amira living in the U.S. with you? Yeah,
she actually came several times. So living is a complicated term because of the visa there, but you can come as a tourist for 3 months, and you can go back to France for about a month or two, and then you can come back and be a tourist again for 3 months. And so this is essentially how we operated for a year and a half, 2 years of our relationship. She would come over here, stay 2 or 3 months, and then she would go back for a month or two, and then she'd come back, stay 2 or 3 months. And so she ended up living here about over 9 months.
Wow, holy crap. And so when you guys were together, I could be wrong, but it did kind of seem like there always seemed to be a little bit of using kind of going on. It just seemed kind of weird. Did you ever think that in your head that, yeah, she's 100% using me when she was here in America or when she was over in France? Like, did you ever have that thought go through your head?
I really should have suspected. I am a fool in love, to be honest. I mean, I had friends or family members who would pick up on certain behavioral traits, and they would try to be like, oh, hey, maybe you should be a little bit more cautious with your generosity in this regard. But I didn't pick up on it. I was so in love with Amira. I was 100% in this relationship, and like even doing this show, this was her dream. I wanted her to have her dream, and so here we are.
Right. And so why, your mom mentioned that too. This is her whole idea. This is what she wanted. Why? Do you think she wants to become famous? Do you think, why did she want to go on this show so bad?
One of the first things when you ask Amira what she wants to do, she's going to tell you that she wants to be famous. And that's kind of her ambition. And you can ask her, famous on what? Acting, singing, dancing, or anything. But I think when she thinks of fame, I think she thinks more Instagram influencer type of fame. The kind of the content that she wants to develop is probably more modelly content and be famous more through social media.
You know, I did ask some of my subscribers if they had any questions for you, one of which, I don't know if you've seen this, but supposedly there's a new man, I think his name's like Camel Ventura or something. I have actually reached out to him. We did not have a real conversation. We were just kind of joking around. It was no serious conversation. I'm trying to get him to come on the channel, but I'm curious, have you seen the guy? Supposedly she's dating him. Do you have any comments on her new man and all that kind of stuff? What do you think of that?
I would love for you to get him on your channel. I would love to Amira on your channel. I would love for you to get all these people. Like, I really want all these voices heard, and I want the air cleared, and I want everybody to, you know, to have an open environment to speak, you know. Camel seems like actually a good dude. Like, I have no issues with the man. I think in a different world, if we ran into each other, me and him would probably be really good friends. From what I hear in people who have talked to him, he seems like a nice, funny, kind of nice guy. I worry a little bit that he also is being used for the sake of Amira's fame and to be on TV. I've heard rumors. I'm not 100% sure that they have filmed or have done some sort of distance filming together, Camel and Amira, and that they might indeed be on a spinoff. I was even told at the tell-all by one of the producers as I was leaving there that she had two guests, one being her father, and the other, I was assuming, was going to be the boyfriend. But I think they cut both of those out after the fact. The dad and the boyfriend.
Yeah, see, I feel like that the producers, they heard Amira's story. They probably thought some of it was kind of BS. And then when they heard she already had a new man and everything didn't add up, I feel like, at least in my opinion, they were just like, let's just cut this. Even though it was only an hour-long tell-all, so maybe they had to cut it. But I was just still kind of like, I feel like they kind of cut it short on her because they were just kind of smelling the BS. But I could be wrong, who knows for sure. But either way, you know, I am curious. You and Jovi was definitely standing up for you in the tell-all. And were you guys like together last weekend?
Oh yeah, me and Jovi were hanging out in wine country in Napa Valley. Me and Jovi are buddies. We're good friends, and he's out here in Davis right now. I'm gonna hang out with him again this week. You saw Julia talking bad about me. You saw all these casts. I have no problems with any of them. In fact, a lot of that is a technique called frankenbiting. A lot of that is producers pushing certain words to come out of people's mouths. You know, like I have no problems with Julia. I have no problems with Brent. I have no problems with Yara. In fact, I love them all, and we get along quite splendidly.
Wow. And I hate to change the topics too much, but I am curious. I asked your mom too. You know, we see so much of Amira's dad. I don't think we even heard anything from Amira's mom. But you've mentioned her quite a bit, and so did your mom. What is the relationship there? Why did she not want to be on the show?
I have a lot of respect for Amira's mom. I feel like me and her got along very well. In fact, Amira's mom is the main force in raising Amira and in Amira's life. Amira's dad really, from what Amira told me, only came back into her life as an adult and has been really only a toxic negative force. But her mom is such a sweet and genuine and generous and kind soul, a very nice person, very shy, doesn't want to be on TV, doesn't want to be famous, does not want the chaos that all of that brings. She was even incredibly resistant to Amira allowing the cameras to film in her home there because Amira lives with her mom over there. And so the mom was even resistant to that. So yeah, the mom did not necessarily want to be on camera, but she was the one that was talking to me when all of this went down initially. And like, she was telling me to get off the plane. She was very concerned and trying to get me off the plane so we could figure it all out.
Wow, interesting. So she's just, yeah, kind of more shy. Well, you know, that's about all the questions I have. I appreciate you sharing. Do you have any other comments you want to share? Anything you want to get off your chest before we sign off for the day? I really appreciate you doing this interview, and I agree, like you said earlier, you know, I reached out to Amira. She might follow me, but she just keeps seeing the messages and she won't respond. So, like I keep saying though, I for the life of me, I cannot pick a side because I wasn't there. I don't know what the heck's going on. I appreciate you sharing your side, though. And anything else you want to share before we sign off for the day?
I totally respect that. In fact, I respect the fact where everyone's coming from because of what they've seen and what they've been shown and everything. So it really makes it difficult to kind of digest the information I'm giving you. But you've spoken to Stephanie, you've spoken to others. You can see how some of these things are set up. I would hope people would give me a chance in that regard. Take a look at some of the things that I'm showing, take a look at some of the receipts that I have there. And yeah, I would love for Amira to come out and talk about it all and really say her side. I don't even have to be here. You know, I would love for her on your show and just clear her side with you.
Hey, yeah, let's do it, man. This has been super fun. I want to say once again, I really appreciate and I want to say to everyone watching, whether you believe Andrew, you believe Amira, or you could care less, the thing is, I have to give you credit, Andrew, for at least coming on, sharing your side of the story. I've offered to Amira, I'll say it again, you're welcome to come on. Andrew doesn't have to be here, but it's like, I really appreciate you at least sharing your side of the story so we can learn more, and this has been so much fun. Yeah, so this has been a blast. I really appreciate it. And thanks so much for coming on.
No, thank you, man. Thank you for having me, and thank you for allowing me the opportunity to do this. So we'll be in touch. Thanks again.
All right, guys, that is it for today. And I just want to say, what an unbelievably bizarre, crazy, shocking interview and couple. It's just bizarre. I wanted to say thanks for Andrew coming on, but like I said during the video, even to Andrew, nothing against the guy, but I still to this day cannot pick sides. I'm not going to say I'm Team Andrew. I'm not going to say I'm Team Amira. I will just say I appreciate Andrew for coming on. And Amira, if you are watching this interview, please, you can come on. I'm not mean. See, I'm very nice and respectful to everyone, so I would love to talk to her and maybe her new man too, but hey, I'm just throwing it out there, guys. Well, thank you so much for watching this interview. If you enjoyed it, please hit that like button, hit the comments below, hit the subscribe, follow, and share button. Y'all better please stay tuned for many more videos.